welcome to For the Love of Making Books. It's been a while since I have made a video. I have been doing other things, a lot of textiles, lessons and workshops, for example English paper piecing. I've been doing an art course of the 7 elements of art, and that's actually a year-long course, so making books has become something that has been left aside for a while. So this morning I was in a second-hand bookshop and there was a torn book, children's book, one of my favourite authors, Julia Donaldson. And I don't think it's just because I work with children a lot, but she was at a time the Children's Laureate in the United Kingdom. This book that celebrates 20 years, but it's over 20 years now since Gruffalo came onto our bookshelves. So it was torn, and I decided I'd make a notebook, and one notebook has turned into 6 notebooks because I was going to make up, dyed paper pages for it, and I came across the fact that I had cut booklets, 4 of them with 12 pages. I started cutting up a background that I actually used in some of my videos. It's sort of past its sell-by date. It's got a bit of glue on it and everything because my mat, as you can see, is terrible. So I used to use just an A3 piece of paper. So I cut them up, measured them, just marked them. I didn't measure them with numbers, if that makes sense. I just marked them. And then I thought, well, I ended up with 6 of them out of 2 sheets. Some of them were blue and some of them were orange. So you can see all the glue there. So really just the structure of the notebook. So I started, well, I had 4 sets of 8, as I said, or 4 sets of 12, 48, and I ended up with 6 covers. So I divided it into 6 sets of 8, is 48 as well. And it is actually a more manageable book for a child. So I covered the inside first of all with coffee dyed paper. It's quite a heavy, it's more than 80 GSM, which is the normal one for copy paper, so I think it's probably about 100, maybe slightly more. So it gives it good structure. I just kept cutting out pictures. The back of it, I had these 6 little things from the book which describe the features of the Gruffalo, and I just wanted to make a feature of that on the back of each one. So that was a page in the book too. Do you know the Gruffalo? I'll probably highlight those in black, those 2 strips there of words. And I did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I've created 2 pockets, a deep one at the front, which I'll have to make something to put in it, probably take basic tags I already have and just make them more Gruffalo, and then just a wee tuck spot at the back there, so any scraps generated will be useful. I do need to seal this here with some kind of fabric tape or whatever, or just fabric, but I'd have to have a good rummage. And there's a grey piece there which actually would do. So I don't know how beneficial it would be just to go through each of the steps of the making process. I'm sure that's all fairly self-explanatory. I just have all these structures cut, the pages ready, And you can see I give myself a wee bit of a margin there. If necessary I can trim it, but I knew I probably wanted to round the corners. I've prepared those. I've just got sections of the book which I will glue the outside and select. Maybe I want the mouse, the mushrooms or toadstools and the fox, so I'll position it, glue and position it. I might do a couple of things now and just show you what the process is. I'll maybe cover this. I don't have fabric glue at the minute. Haven't made books in a while. So I do have this silicone glue here, which I was getting to prefer better than Fabri-Tac, but I went to bed one night having done some work in my little craft room and came back and realised, oh, I've got it out, realised that you see I don't have a lot of room there, so this strip might have to be a bit thinner. I don't know what way it would look if you had more in the front. I don't think I really like that, so I'm going to make it a lot thinner. So a lot of my traditional supplies have been used up, or it's not that you strictly have to stick to a particular theme, but if your channel is called For the Love of Making Books, it would seem a bit strange in my opinion if you started doing textile art, but I am a big fan of sewing projects. I've only made baby quilts so far. Big fan of English paper piecing. Oh, for a number of years, not just, in the recent days. I think you have to kind of fold it because you'll end up. So I need some clips. And because I'm doing so many different things, they don't really lend themselves to. I'm wondering if I should just try, because it's so thin, let it set there for a bit and then I'll clip it. It has to say nose here. Trying to see if it's in the middle, not quite. So I'll leave that to dry a wee moment and maybe do a bit of this next one just to show you my process. Because it is off an A3 page, it is a wee bit more difficult to find paper that covers it. It would have been better if I could have had A3 dyed, coffee dyed paper, but I don't have that. Nor do I really have the place to store it. I've just got A4 sort of size storage, although I probably could. But for this one project, I'm just going to do it in 2 halves. So that's basically all I did, was cover the nasty paper. There's too much glue there, but it'll do over on this side. Everything seems to have, just shows you if you leave your supplies, but everything's, even the stuff that has lids on it, seems to have dried up. So I'm just getting another page of coffee dyed paper. I always think the heavier weight paper dyes a little better, so this is the Pritt stick that's very stiff to apply, and I think it's just a wee bit dried up. But when I'm giving stuff to people, or I think I just do it out of habit, whether it's for myself or selling it or gifting it. I always do a double layer. I have to see where the fold is to make sure. I'm just lining it up here. And then it's easy enough then to cut. So I'm just going to put this video up today. It's probably the wrong time, but I'm not on YouTube for any financial reasons. I just like videoing. I never really knew or had any experience of videoing until COVID. Sorry, tapped the phone there. I had absolutely no experience of it. Never even imagined. I do have my dad in the 60s, when he left school, worked for television. So he was always interested in filming. He didn't stay very long in that job, but he was always very interested in filming and taking pictures of us as children, which used to, for somebody who's very shy, it was hard at times just to cope with it. I feel as if I should maybe try and go for it. I'm going to do that one with this one. I'm going to go a bit further to see if I can eliminate my spine problems. And strange enough to relate, one of my children has studied at broadcasting at university. But I do this all myself. I don't actually, well, I do use some of his equipment. Well, not equipment really. I store his light for him. And when I need to use it, do a video where I use it. So I don't really care when the video goes out, if it's, I have to sort of laugh at YouTubers talking about, well, I'm not a YouTuber. I post an odd video on YouTube, doesn't make you a YouTuber. But it makes me laugh when I hear them all talking about the algorithm, trying to beat the algorithm. Because as a teacher, algorithms are used for exam grades and things, and there is absolutely no way of understanding how it exactly works. You can sort of hypothesize how it might be working. So I'm doing something slightly different. And because I've been doing so many textile bits, I've got all these wee scraps of fabric. Well, there were scraps before I even did anything with them. There were samples of blind fabric, and of course I had to use them for something and make something out of them. Can't look a free gift in the face without doing something. So I'm going to let that dry a wee bit. So now I have the challenge of what I would put here, and maybe put his terrible claws this time. I can't use this background, as you can see. So it might send me back to the book and see if I can get a plainish background that won't sort of clash with this here. And I've been so out of practice. There's all the languages the Gruffalo has been translated into. If you're interested to know how they pronounce. There's the Gruffalon in Swedish. Der Gruffalo in German. That's very interesting. See, that page is more neutral. It could go there. So I might tear this page out. Yeah, I was saying I had so many problems with just getting started this morning. I measured up things and went to take the page out and tore it. So I don't really want his horns. I don't think I need his horns. Okay, or should I go in from this side? And that would be easier maybe. So I'm definitely a bit out of practice. I've even considered changing the name of my channel, just to be honest about it. Well, it's not going to remain just about making books. I have so many books backlogged to sell. I don't really sell them at full price. It's just a matter of let's see where I'm going to have to place this. It's just a matter of making a few pennies for charity. So I'm sure you don't need to hear all that, but yes, beating the algorithm, I wouldn't even bother trying, because you can learn. I mean, I have had to use an algorithm to generate what in schools are known as unique candidate numbers. There's an algorithm that you can use either manually to generate that number, or you can just put it into your exam center site and they will generate it for you. So the YouTube algorithm is much more complex than generating one number. So I'm not, as I said, I'm not a YouTuber. I post some things on YouTube. I don't even edit videos. This is just recorded and uploaded. One of my favourite YouTubers, Pam at the Paper Outpost, she does the same. So okay, I'm just going to leave it at that, and maybe, oh dear, I'll post pictures of the, maybe a short of all the little notebooks made.